All right, welcome back to another episode of Intro to Counseling. All right, so today we're talking about professional associations in the counseling and related fields, and this is chapter 2 in your text. And so all right. Let me move this out of the way. Here we go. All right. So, the purpose of professional associations is to protect the rights of members and to support the philosophical beliefs of membership. And so, in any profession, an association is one of the pillars that makes a profession. So, just to kind of give you an idea of the pillars of what makes a profession, it's professional associations, an ethical code, and accreditation standards. And we have all of those in the counseling profession. But today we're going to talk about those associations, and some of those benefits are job banks. So when you graduate, that's a good place to start looking for a job if you're not, tied to a local area. But they offer that. There's also free webinars, and those come in very handy when you get ready to renew your licensure every 2 years, and you have to have all those continuing education hours. And so you can get free webinars. I think they do a free CE every month for ACA. And our association is the American Counseling Association, by the way. You'll hear it referred to as ACA quite often. You also have access to malpractice insurance. And so when you join as a student, you automatically get that malpractice insurance. And you'll need that when you start practicum and internship. And so all you do is just join ACA and then you automatically have it. So that's pretty cool. And then also the Code of Ethics and Standards for Practice. So the ACA 2014 Code of Ethics, which I have a feeling they're getting ready to update. But those codes of ethics, that's what's going to be referenced in your court proceedings should you ever be sued for malpractice. Hopefully, you don't find yourself in that position. But if you do, you better hope you have been practicing according to the Code of Ethics because that is what is cited. That is what each state holds us accountable to is that ACA Code of Ethics, not the American Psychological Association, not the American Psychiatric, not the social work, not any of these other sub code of ethics that we do have that help guide us, but the ACA Code of Ethics, that is what we are to uphold. All right, so opportunities for mentoring and networking. So this is just good to go to those conferences and meet people and you get to really be around like-minded people because even under the big umbrella of ACA, there's different divisions that you can join and you can meet people who are interested in the same thing you are and y'all can nerd out together. Information on cutting edge issues in the field. People who are doing research, they go and they present their research before it ever even gets published. They go and present it at these conferences. So that, I mean, it really truly is cutting edge. Free consultation on ethical and professional issues. So this is an amazing service that they offer, especially since it's free. If you find yourself in an ethical dilemma, you want to call the ACA ethical hotline and consult and document that you did that because if you didn't document it, it didn't happen. Document, 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 always. So they offer that free consultation service. You better use it when you find yourself in ethical dilemmas. For now, as a student, you can consult with your supervisors, your faculty, your clinic director. You've got lots of support. But when you're out on your own and you're licensed and you're practicing and you don't have maybe a consultation group that you're a part of, you need to rely on this consultation hotline. So they offer that. Also, lobbyists that advocate for the interests of the membership. So, like Dr. Balkin was talking about the first night of class, even if you can't be very involved in your associations, it's important to belong to them because your dues pay for the lobbyists. And that is who goes to your state governments, your national government, the federal governments to advocate on your behalf. Things such as different insurance panels that you're allowed to belong to. Like, we got to make sure we're able to get paid. I know we want to do this to help people out of the goodness of our heart, but we also have bills to pay. And so it's an interesting thing to learn about what insurances are gate kept by certain professions. For the longest time, TRICARE was gate kept by social workers. But now we're able to be on TRICARE panels and help members of the military. So just things like that. And also Medicare, Medicaid, us being able to accept that is pretty a recent development, and that is due to lobbyists from the professional associations that you belong to, and that's where those dues go. So it really is important. It feels like you're not doing much, but it really helps. It goes a long way. It's the easiest form of advocacy. Also, newsletters and journals to discuss topics of interest to the membership. So, if you belong to ACA, you'll get a monthly magazine called Counseling Today, and I have some copies I'll bring to class and pass around for y'all to see. But it's got a lot of like little short articles that are really interesting. Each month they have a theme, and it's pretty good. And then they also have a peer-reviewed journal. So for ACA, it's the Journal of Counseling and Development. And then even the divisions under the umbrella of ACA, which we'll talk about here in a second, they also have their own journals. So if you're interested in the creative arts, there's a journal for creativity and counseling through that division. Um, so things like that, you can kind of stay up to date on topics. Then the national and regional conferences to discuss training and clinical issues. Like I said, those conferences, if you can get to them, if you can get the time off and have the money to register and go to them, I would suggest do it because they are a lot of fun. I really love the Expo Center. They've got a lot of cool products that they sell, like different journals and just a lot of like video stuff, like scheduling software, lots of things you can get into and lots of people you can meet. So, lots of different conferences. I would say as a student, start with the Mississippi Counseling Association. So that is a subset that's kind of under that umbrella of the ACA, Mississippi Counseling Association, is where I would start as a student. Okay. All right, so the American Counseling Association, their website is right here, counseling.org. I would encourage you to explore that website. There is a little promotional video that we can start with if it'll work. If the quality's not good, fast forward through this
Future of your business
and watch it on your own.
with
I'll post these.
advanced AI capabilities.
If you consider that we as humans live in social situations and that any individual is sort of like the stone going into the pond and that the ripple effect, the concentric circles go out, I believe that that's the type of effect that counselors have.
When we think about someone accessing professional counseling services and being interested in making some change in their life, everyone that they're involved with is also going to be the recipient of the changes that are made.
Once we teach them the skills that they need in order to get better, then they're able to apply that to their daily lives.
Whether it's in the home, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in the place of worship, you're helping people make healthier, happier choices.
It benefits society every day, particularly if you can transform consumers of service into producers.
So as a counselor, you are really trying to help people to become a better person, a better citizen.
It's just such a positive kind of reciprocal effect.
There is a huge growth in the need for counselors.
I think more people are seeing, the value in counseling and more people are seeking counseling.
We're now living in a global society with the new challenges that come up daily.
With increased need, you need additional resources.
What ACA has done is elevate the importance of the profession, made clear that we meet and surpass standards of professional excellence.
We encourage our students to not only join our professional development associations and ACA, but to become involved in those.
That allows them to see that counseling consists of many different areas and many different divisions, and it allows them to expand their knowledge and skills.
An ACA membership provides students with a foundational support and resource in their professional lives.
One of the things that I find particularly valuable about an organization like ACA is that it provides many different resources for our students.
With their membership comes their liability insurance that's required as they become students in counseling.
They're able to go to conferences, they're able to network with other people, they're able to learn leadership skills.
I'm really looking forward to the fact that their annual conference, the keynote speaker will be the author of both textbooks that I've used so far.
I know that the online resources that are only available to members of the ACA are the most up to date, have the most current research, and the most reliable data.
The comfort of knowing that the ethical hotline is there. So if ever I'm in an ethical dilemma or I have a question, I can give that number a call, and a licensed counselor will be on the other side to help me, to guide me in those decisions.
There's no reason not to become an ACA member.
As a student and a student member of ACA, ACA means access.
I think that every counseling student should be a part of an organization such as ACA.
If I didn't have that network that ACA gives me, it'd be difficult because I'd feel like I was sort of out on an island by myself.
It has people, it has research. It basically offers you a whole constellation of support.
As a mom and a wife and a student and working full time, I have to be efficient. I have to be able to go to one place, get everything that I need, and then go forward.
Having the comfort and knowledge of knowing that I'm a part of a professional organization, yeah, it just really means a lot to me.
When our students leave our program here at GW and have been ACA members, I see a stronger, more confident, self-made counselor.
Very optimistic in terms of people's abilities to manage their lives. I think that when they are empowered and when they're confident, that's a skill they share.
When a client or student says to their counselor, I never thought of it that way, or, I've been thinking about what we talked about last week, those are seeds. And sometimes in counseling, we may not see the immediate results, but we may see them a year later or 10 years later. That's where clients and students and consumers directly benefit from having a counselor who is an active part of the American Counseling Association.
I'm proud to be in the counseling profession because I get to advocate for others. And I'm proud to be a part of ACA because they advocate for me.
All right. So I'm not sure how good that video quality is going to be. If it was kind of crappy, just feel free to fast forward. I think I have a couple more videos to show you. But I will post these slides to Blackboard and you can access the links that way. To be able to watch those videos. But anyway, that is just a promotional video about the American Counseling Association. Basically said what I said before I showed you the video, pretty much. But some things to note over here on the left, it was founded in 1913 and it was named the National Vocational Guidance Association. So this piece of trivia is going to be important. It'll probably be asked on your comprehensive CPCE exam, and you will see this again. So the reason it's important is because if you'll remember back to chapter 1, how I mentioned that counseling was born out of the Industrial Revolution. So when we went from an agricultural society to an industrial society, people really had to figure out what their vocation was going to be, how they were going to move forward and take care of themselves and their families. And so that's really where counseling started, and that's why it was called the National Vocational Guidance Association. And it's gone through several name changes. Just counseling is known for sort of ebbing and flowing with whatever's going on in the social zeitgeist, really. So the vocational is kind of where it started, and it went through some few name changes, and we landed on the American Counseling Association. So it's the largest counseling association in the world. It's got 18 divisions. Those are all the special, like little, like the creativity in counseling, or the counselors for group work, or International Association for Marriage and Family Therapy. So those are all the like different divisions. I would encourage you to go to the website and kind of explore what all they have to offer. Then they have 55 branches, so that includes all the states and territories and things like that, and then 4 regional associations. There's also 23 interest networks. So one of the interest networks that I've checked out before was the clinic director interest network, because I directed the Cope Clinic for 4 years, and so I checked that out. So they just have interest networks. So if there's not a division, there's probably an interest network for it. So really do encourage you to go check that out. So it also supports a number of affiliates and related organization. And this is important because this is our umbrella. The ACA is our umbrella association that kind of is a pillar of what makes us a profession. And when it backs these other organizations, that really carries a lot of weight. So the American Counseling Association Foundation, that's more about like scholarships and things like that. Check that out. I encourage you. The Council for Accreditation and Counseling Related Educational Programs. This is CACREP. I know you've heard the word CACREP before. This is the gold standard of counseling training. If there's a program offered at Harvard or any other prestigious university, and they're CACREP accredited, it's the same as the accreditation that we have. So it's the same set of standards, pretty much the same curriculum. We do have some flexibility with that, but that is the gold standard CACREP. That's important to know as well. Also, the National Board for Certified Counselors, NBCC, they're behind a lot of the exams. So they do a lot of the publishing of the exams. So, for example, the CPCE that you're going to be required to take in February of your second year, and this is required for graduation, the CPCE, that's put out by the NBCC. They publish that. And they also publish the NCE, the National Counselor Exam that you need for licensure. And then there's other little credentialing exams, like for the NCC, the Nationally Certified Counseling Credential, that, they have a application that you fill out for that, and for the Master's Addiction Counselor, for all the little different credentials you can get. It's probably backed by the National Board for Certified Counselors, which is affiliated with the American Counseling Association. So you will see that again throughout your career. Also, Chi Sigma Iota, we refer to it as CSI. It's not Crime Scene Investigation. It's Chi Sigma Iota, and that is the National Counseling Honor Society. Here at the University of Mississippi, our chapter is called Epsilon Mu, and we'll talk about that here in a second. I think I have a slide on that. But I do encourage you to join that. I think you have to have a 3.0 or maybe a 3.5 to qualify to join that honor society. All right, so the American Mental Health Counselors Association, AMCA, it was founded in 1978 as ACA's 13th division, and it disaffiliated in 2019. It's the largest association for clinical mental health counselors in the world, and it publishes the Journal of Mental Health Counseling and the Advocate magazine. And so I've been a member of this off and on. I really enjoy their conference. They put it on during the summer, so that's kind of nice. And they usually have it in neat places. Like I've gone to the conference that was in DC, in New Orleans. They've had it in Las Vegas. So they're just kind of all over the place. But if you're on the clinical track, I encourage you to check this one out. And let's see about this video. And again, if the quality's not good, you can fast forward it and then just revisit the slides that are posted on Blackboard and watch the videos that way. But let's try it anyway.
I've been asked what makes the American Mental Health Counselors Association different than other associations. I can tell you that the flavor of the American Mental Health Counselors Association, the thing that makes it distinctly unique, I think, from others, is our focus on being run by practitioners, focused on the need of practitioners. And that's at all levels. A board that consists predominantly of practitioners, and that's been true since I've ever been associated with the association, the majority of the board, or at least 50% of the board, were practitioners. So that focus starts at the top. But our conferences, the different sessions that you go to at our conferences are geared toward practitioners. There's a lot less theoretical discussions. There's a lot less discussions of someone's dissertation, and a stronger focus on the pragmatics of working with clients. So there's a stronger focus on the practitioner in our conferences, and folks that come up to me and said it's dramatically different than, say, the last ACA conference they went to. And there's this tendency with our faculty members as members of the association to be practitioners, for example. They have a private practice right now, a small private practice, or they were practitioners, or they intend to retire and become practitioners again. And so their focus tends to be much more on the needs of the person working in a private practice, or building a private practice, or that person that's out on the field right now working in a community mental health agency. So I like to think that we're an association of folks that are getting their hands dirty every day, working and advocating for our profession.
Okay, so that is AMCA. All right, so next up is the American School Counseling Association, also known as ASCA. And it was founded in 1952 and it disaffiliated in 2018, so a year before AMCA disaffiliated from ACA. It's the largest association for school counselors in the world, and it publishes the Professional School Counseling Journal, ASCA School Counselor Magazine, and a monthly newsletter. And let's check out their video.
This lesson is going to walk you through the American School Counselor Association National Model. The American School Counselor Association National Model is often referred to as the ASCA National Model. It's comprised of these 8 categories, and we'll go through each one of these categories one at a time. The management documents are for communicating your plan to the school leaders and the school administrators. You create foundational documents to document what your beliefs, your vision, and your mission are, and your plan is based on these foundational documents. You're then going to write goals. You've got goal documents. The goals are SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And the goals reflect your foundational documents, your beliefs, your vision, and your mission. You write lesson plans that are designed to achieve the goals that you've written. Some of the lesson plans might be for targeted groups of students, like students with high absenteeism or students who are failing core courses. And other lesson plans might be more general lesson plans for the school as a whole. You use perception surveys to capture changes in social emotional aspects. Your action plan documents give a big picture of how your lesson plans relate to the goals and which surveys go with which lesson plans, just kind of a big picture document. Then you document the services. There's some record keeping involved where you document who got what services, what level of service they got, and what the outcomes are. Then you reflect on the process. You reflect on what worked well, what didn't work well, what would you change, what would you do again the same way because it worked, and you document some of these reflections. This data-driven framework does have a lot of components to it, and it can be overwhelming at first, but this framework will help you work in a data-driven way. You're going to leave this lesson with completed documents to get you started on using your ASCA National Model.
Okay.
Everybody.
So you are going to learn, school counselors, you are going to learn all about ASCA and the ASCA National Model with Dr. Bledsoe in the Foundations of School Counseling class next spring. So you don't feel like you have to memorize all that. This is just an exposure. And again, I just want to remind you all that this class is just an exposure to all that is to come in the next 2 years. So ASCA and ASCA National Model, that's coming, school counselors, but I wanted you to be aware of it so you can go ahead and be familiar. It's not going to be new when you hear about it with Dr. Bledsoe. All right, so MCA, you've heard us talk about this, Mississippi Counseling Association. It's been an association here since 1950. They publish the Journal of Counseling Research and Practice, and their magazine or newsletter is called The Compass. And they have a yearly conference. It's usually in Biloxi. I think they do 2 years in Biloxi, 1 year in Tupelo, 2 years in Biloxi, 1 year in Tupelo. They used to have it in Philadelphia at the Golden Star and Silver Moon casinos, but I don't know why they quit doing that. They were going to go back to doing that in COVID, and then you know what happened during COVID. But that was supposed to, that was where I went to my first MCA when I was a master's student. So networking in various divisions. They have, you can find a bunch of school counselors there, a bunch of clinical counselors there, college counselors, addictions counselors. You can network with all different kind of folks at MCA. Another thing I would encourage you, maybe this year, or maybe next year when you're more comfortable, but the Emerging Leaders Program, if this is something you're interested in. One of our doc students did this during his master's program and had a really great experience with it. I think they paid for most of his conference when it was down in Biloxi. It's Cameron Douglas. And so if you get a chance to talk with Cameron, if you're interested in the Emerging Leader Program, talk to Cameron. If you want to get connected with him, Shanier and Brian would be able to connect you with him. They're all in classes together. So this is their website. We won't go to it, but I encourage you to check out their website and just see, you know, all the different things they've got going on. And then Chi Sigma Iota, CSI, it's the International Honor Society for Counselors. It promotes and recognizes scholarly activities, leadership, professionalism, and excellence in the profession. Epsilon Mu is our chapter here at the University of Mississippi, and Dr. Bledsoe is your chapter faculty advisor. Here is the website. I encourage you to visit that. And if you make the grades, whether it's 3.0 or 3.5, it's probably a 3.5. If you make the grades and you qualify, I really, really encourage you to join. You get free CEs. You get, I think they do a newsletter too. They also have an online journal. And yeah, it's just a really good one. And you get honors cords that you get to wear at graduation. So that's, you know, that's kind of neat. And we also do an induction ceremony and little social mixers. Anytime we do anything outside of the classroom that allows students to get together, it's usually put on by CSI. And they also do a yearly t-shirt sale. So we'll see if they'll do that again. So hopefully it'll be cute. I think Grace Gober might be the president. She was the president last year. She's a doc student now, so it might be a different president. But anyway, join CSI next semester. All right, other select professional associations that your book talks about is the American Art Therapy Association. That's separate from ACA. The American Association for Marriage and Family Therapy. These are all separate from ACA, by the way. But this is just if you're really into marriage and family therapy and you want to join all the associations, this would be one for you. The American Psychiatric Association, then you see they've got psychiatric nurses. Of course, APA, the Psychological Association. Association for Social Workers, and then Organization of Human Services. So again, I mean, it's not uncommon for a profession to have an association like this. So you can see the importance of it. That's the point of the slide, is that you see that all professions have one, and it's very important. All right, to-dos and reminders. Read chapters 1 and 2 if you haven't done so already. Take quiz 1. I am about to post that, and do reflection 1, a half to 1 page of reflection of what you just reflecting on chapters 1 and 2. Be sure to schedule your LPC interview and do the syllabus quiz by next week. And then upload your orientation forms to Box folder. So that doesn't necessarily have to do with this lesson, but it is a reminder to upload those forms to your Box folder. If you need a link to your folder, just email me. I'll be glad to send that to you. But anyway, I look forward to seeing you. If I'm your advisor, you can just bring your forms to class and I'll sign them. If you had Dr. Conklin as an advisor, She is no longer with the university. I will be your advisor. So, all clinical mental health, bring your forms for me to sign them because I think I'm advising all of you. But school counselors, Dr. Bledsoe will sign your forms. So that's all I have to say about that. Those are your reminders. Let me know if you've got any questions. Feel free to send me an email. And I look forward to seeing y'all in class next week.